What's Bruin is presented by Crown Trophy of Little Rock. Nationally known, locally owned. Crown Trophy of Little Rock is more than awards. They can customize apparel, uniforms, giftware, and more. Visit them online at crowntrophy.com and be sure to thank them for supporting PA Live.
Hello everyone and welcome to What's Bruin. I'm Joshua Carroll. I'm joined this time by Coach Bruce Dickey, head coach of the wrestling program at Pulaski Academy. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, last year the season ended on such a high note. The Bruins ended up taking the state championship. You've got to be proud of that accomplishment.
Yeah, without a question. It was one of those things where everything fell into place. Everything that could have gone right did go right. Nobody else thought we would win it. But I was very pleasantly surprised when it happened. But it doesn't surprise me. The kids worked very hard towards that goal.
So last year you had at least one wrestler. You had two wrestlers that I can think of that were brand new to the program. Is that right? How many others did you have there?
Yes, our heavyweight.
Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley walked in. We didn't have a heavyweight. He came out, and I think Bass had never been out for wrestling before, and they stepped up to the plate for us and helped us, and without their help, we certainly wouldn't have won. Wesley took third in the state, and Bass advanced and picked up enough points for us to just barely slip into contention. I thought we had a good outside chance of taking second, but the kids evidently thought otherwise and won it. And I want to add that an important part of that I thought was having Coach Kelly there to help, and our assistant football coach Adam Thrash, who has a background in wrestling. I was in Florida with a funeral for my mom. It was the only time in 48 years that I had not been at an event, whether I was sick, had the flu, whatever. So it was kind of killing me, and they FaceTimed me, and they were jumping up and down. I thought, oh my gosh, we did take second, and they yelled, no. They pulled it off and got first, and I couldn't stop laughing for about 10 minutes, so it was pretty cool.
That was a fun win. And so you had True Bass, Wes Coleman, Grant Swindle. It's brand new into the program.
Grant as well, without doubt. I'm having a little mental thing here. There's no quit in your son, and we needed a 106, very, very hard to get, and he was underweight even for that weight class, and we just kept telling him, don't worry about your wins and losses, because we have probably the toughest schedule in the state, and it only matters how you finish. And then he snuck in there and took a 6th, and that was a huge, huge thing for us. So very pleased with the performance.
You have to be. And, you had so many of the wrestlers on the team last year that not only, of course, they all contributed to the overall championship win for the team, but there was many of them that placed themselves. I know even Wesley took, third in the state? You had Grant that took 6th. You had, I can't even remember everybody.
Well, so I go down there and kind of looking down at some notes here. Josh Cady was a first-year wrestler here, and he took 3rd. I'm looking at some other ones here. Of course, Andrew Hugg came back, and Johnson was back. Kammerling had been off for a period of time, and he came back and took 6th place for us. And of course, Warburton took 5th, and Witcher took 2nd, and Allison was state champion. I mean, they all stepped up to get it done.
As you're mentioning those names, something that they're all familiar in my mind because we're going through football season right now. There's so many of these guys that are on the wrestling team are in other sports at the school, whether they're playing basketball and football and cross country. This is a sport where there's so many different aspects of it that kind of lend to being a better athlete overall.
What people don't understand is if you think of a spoke like on some kind of
like a bicycle wheel,
Conestoga wagon or something like that, wrestling's at the center core. Balance, agility, teaches you to be aggressive, have tremendous discipline because you have to weigh to the ounce. You're wrestling somebody your own size, you can't even be 1 ounce over. You have the analogies with football, especially You have to learn to hand fight. You have to keep a low center of gravity. You have to keep your head up, same in tackling, etc. You have to learn self-defense. You are battling one-on-one continuously. We probably get more, in terms of actual time, more battling in 2 weeks than they might, time-wise, than they might get in football season. Because, plays only go about 8 seconds, somewhere along that line. Kevin could tell you exactly what it is, but I'm guessing around 8 seconds per play. But this is continuous. It's every day in practice, and every single football player that I've had since I've been here has said, gosh, every football player that's not playing basketball should be in here. And I agree with them, but it's not for everybody. This is a tough sport, and if you're not really tough-minded, you may have a little bit of trouble. However, there are a lot of people that come into this sport, they're not tough. They are heavy, they are out of shape, they are pear-shaped, and I was trying to count them over my 48-year career. I've had about 36 kids that have come in very heavy, very pear-shaped. By the time they're a senior and they take their shirt off, they've got six-packs and they are built well. It just does so much for a young person. And the fact that you're wrestling somebody your own size. Now, if you're a 100-pound football player and you're a freshman, it's not fun to run into a 180, 200-pound linebacker or lineman, but we've got them to do it, and I look for them because they're warriors, and that's what we want. We want young people that are not going to give up, that have a tremendous amount of frustration tolerance, which is one of the top criteria for being successful in anything in life. You have to have the ability, once you're knocked down, you lose, you got to rebound, you got to come right back again and let that go. And you learn to do that. You learn to function under pressure. And that transfers over in football. I just thought it was funny, ASIC's wrestling shoes just came out with something. They show this new wrestling shoe, and it says something to the effect that ASIC's has come out with a new wrestling shoe for off-season football conditioning. Teaches young people to stay low, keep their head up, tackle effectively, which is like our double leg takedowns and single leg takedowns, etc. Even some throws, snake moves and things like that are involved in wrestling. So there's a lot of situations where wrestling really does help football, and of course that's one of my goals that I have anyways, to help our football program in that sense.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because as I go through the football season and I'm watching Fuda Shinkawa take down, make those tackles all season long, I'm recognizing, oh, there's a double leg, there's a high C, and so he's able to actually implement those same wrestling moves there on the football field, and you can tell it has an instant impact.
Well, he's a great tackler, and he was an all-state player last year, as I remember correctly. He's so quick, it's just crazy. But it helps in tackling. For example, when you're wrestling, your opponent's moving around, we try to focus them to stay on the navel. You don't look at the large body parts. You don't look at head fakes, shoulder fakes, hand fakes, and you stay focused on there. Your opponent's not going to be able to get away from you. So think of runners, defensive players, where guys running and they get caught in a head fake, they fake them out left. If they're focusing on the navel area, the chances are if they break down in time, they are not going to get faked out. And they get that over and over and over again in wrestling, which helps in football as well.
And I know one of the things that you really like to drive into the team is, repetition, nutrition, those other aspects of the game that really kind of, again, make them a well-rounded athlete overall.
Mm-hmm. Well, nutrition is important. You are what you eat.
Right.
And if you want to be a champion, then you've got to eat like a champion. I went to a great clinic. Gosh, there was about 2,000 people there, and one of the main speakers was an exercise physiologist, and he went over the #1 criteria for success in anything. He says it's nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. Eat clean, learn which foods to avoid. You never have to be hungry if you do it correctly, and you just shed pounds of body fat that you don't need. One of the things, sometimes football players and parents worry about shedding 15 pounds of fat, etc. The thing is that even after wrestling season, they'll gain that back in less than 3 weeks, if that's what they want to do. So it's really not that big an issue. But generally, if you get down to 7 or 8% body fat, you're going to be quick, light on your feet, etc. Now, we don't want that for our big guys.
Sure.
For example, I was talking to Kevin about it, and he said, well, Bruce, it really matters if they get a bull rush and somebody's a little bit bigger and they have some bulk. It's going to cause us problems. I thought, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
And as long as we've got heavyweights that are they're good size, real good size guys, as long as they're effective, I don't encourage them to lose weight, that's for sure. Matter of fact, nobody has to lose any weight if they don't want to.
Right.
Another thing I do, which is unlike any other sports, or a lot of the other sports, not all of them, I don't ever cut anybody.
Well, Coach, let's take a moment and we'll thank our sponsor. That's Crown Trophy of Little Rock. You can find everything that you need to show appreciation for your athletes, but not only do they have trophies and things of that nature, but say you have a group of employees that you want to recognize, or maybe an employee of the month. They not only have trophies, like I said, but they have drinkware, they have shirts, all kinds of things that they can customize just for you. So you can have your employee of the month walking around with a mug or something that has your company's brand on it. Everything that you might need. Check them out online at crowntrophy.com and select the location of Little Rock. They'll get you squared away. One more time, that's Crown Trophy of Little Rock at crowntrophy.com. Well, Coach, what do you have new in the program? I mean, you mentioned that there's a lot of the wrestlers that come in at the freshman level. Can they get started at any younger than that now?
Yeah, so we're one of the forerunners in the state. There's only a few other programs that have youth programs, but we're interested in having a combination of youth as well as junior high program. We're starting 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade wrestling. We have uniforms for them. They will be representing our school. They will travel to a few meets during the week, not many, but most of them are in tournaments at the end of the week on weekends. There'll be probably at least 6 of them throughout the season. And what we tried to make this is parent friendly. As soon as school is out, they will come over here to Rutherford, and I will be doing all the teaching sessions myself for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Includes girls if they're interested, because the AAA sanctioned wrestling for girls if they want. And the girls, for example, will wrestle the other girls, etc. If they want to wrestle, if the parents don't care if they wrestle boys, then I just want a parent permission slip that says it's okay, something along that nature.
Which is not unusual, because
No.
we've had the girls' sanctioning of girls wrestling in the state has just happened this year.
Yes, and there's about half to 2/3 of all the boys' teams have already said they're going to have a team. And any girl that's in currently, that's involved in wrestling, they have to choose at the end of the year whether they want to go to the girls' state meet or go to the boys' state meet. And Holman, for us, probably needs to be in with the boys, because she can handle just about any boy at her weight class if
No
she gets
kidding.
down where she needs to be.
I think I saw somewhere that Riley Holman is ranked nationally 15th among all the girls wrestlers.
15th to 17th, somewhere right in there, and she's already had offers for colleges, etc. I don't know what she plans on doing.
Sure.
Whatever she does is fine with me, but my job's just to coach her while she's in here as best I can. So girls are welcome if they want to as well. There has been some interest. We'll just kind of see where that goes. I'm sending out an email to all the parents, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Everyone will get it, and we'll talk about what we're doing, questions, etc. They can call me. My number is 501-517-3344, or they can get in touch with me at Bruce at HatcherAgency.com. If they have any questions, I'll get back and explain those things. Some of the younger kids are kind of worried about uniforms. We have singlets, uniforms for everybody, but they feel a little awkward getting in a singlet. They have the option of wearing shorts and a t-shirt type top that will have to be purchased. The only other expense that would, if they choose to do that, if they don't, the singlets are there for them. They will have to buy headgear. They will have to buy a pair of shoes that are right in the $40 to $60 range. It's not an expensive sport,
No.
but that would be just about it. So parents don't have to come and wait in line to pick them up after school. All they have to do is come over here about 5 o'clock and pick them up one time.
Pretty convenient.
It is, and if some of the kids are involved in the Bluebird organization, which a lot of our kids have, that they wrestle on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're going to practice 4 days a week. I don't care if they go there, because I know the kind of instruction they're going to get in a different environment. It does, however, cost $100 a month to be involved in that.
Right.
But on the Mondays and the Wednesdays that are available, they need to be up here with me. And I think this is going to make a huge difference in our young people and keeping them very active and keep their strength, cardiovascular conditioning, and muscular endurance up, which will help them in anything that they decide to do.
Well, Coach, as I understand it, we've got several wrestlers here, just about every member of the Katie family, and Grant Swindle as well. And let's get them on the mat. You can give us a quick Wrestling 101. What do you say?
Okay, sounds good.
So, folks, now we're out here. We've got Joe Katie, Grant Swindle, and Coach, why don't you give us a little 101 for those who aren't familiar with wrestling at all? Go ahead.
Okay, wrestling is a fairly simple thing. When you look out the mat, there's a big circle in the middle, and then there's a larger circle on the outside if you look in. The idea in wrestling, once they actually start doing something, is they are supposed to wrestle. They start here in this little square. They'll, for example, have a little green thing that goes around them. Velcro, and one's green and one's red. We don't have them on then now, but we'll assume that you're green. They have to start on that line, and he steps on that line for the first period. Now, they start on their feet in the first period. We'll get into scoring and that afterwards. People have asked me, do they have to stay in the little circle? No, they just have to stay in the big circle. But they always have to be working toward the middle. In other words, if somebody's going to take somebody down, the other person cannot flee the mat outside the circle. They get penalized. So the referee will always say, move to the middle, move to the middle. And they got to come back toward the center. In other words, you can't run from somebody else. This is a sport that is aggressive, and it's not for the faint or the weak-hearted or the kid that's afraid, or gal that's afraid to fail. In this sport, 90% everything you learn is by failure. All right? So, there are 3 periods in wrestling. Guys, just relax for a second. There are 3 periods in wrestling. In high school, they're 2 minutes. In the lower levels, depending on what tournaments you go to, there are 3 periods of 1 minute, or depending on where you go, the periods are 1 minute and 30 seconds. There is very little time between the periods. But the first period, regardless of where you're at, they always start on their feet. So the start is, like I said, they get down, they get in a stance, they shake hands, and the referee will blow the whistle, and when that goes, they come after each other. All right? Now, let's assume that the clock is counted backwards from 2 minutes down to 0. Then the buzzer goes off, and everything stops. Then what the official does, you'll see them do it. They'll reach in their pocket, and they take out a little disc, and it's green on one side and red on the other, representing each one of the wrestlers. You'll flip it up in the air, it comes down, and if red or green gets it, if Joe's the green wrestler, he will look at him and say, it's your choice, what do you want? And what they get is a number of different choices. If the young man goes up, that means he can start on his feet in the second period. He can choose down. Show him what the down position is.
It's the referee's position.
Yeah, they come back down. You have to get your knees behind on the line. You know how to do that. And hands on the line up there. And the referee will stand out here in the front and will simply say, bottom wrestler, all set. Notice that the other wrestler is standing right there. He can't touch him until the referee tells him. And he'll say, top, do not move on bottom. Top man, get on. This is the top position. All right? And what that is, right there, is if there's a capital letter L, runs right through here, past the knee, right to the feet, and goes across. So his back foot is back, the chin is on the chest, he comes in here, and about the time he comes around, show him, bring the arm up. The arm's the last thing that comes down. Comes around. About the time it touches the belly button, the referee blows the whistle, and they're after it. His job on bottom is to escape and get out, or reverse him, and his job is to break him down and try to pin him. All right, let's just assume that it doesn't matter what the score is. Okay, stand back up. Second period's over with, and we're into our third period. In the third period, since he got the choice before, one of the other choices that he could have made is he could have done that and deferred. He could have chose up, he could choose down, he could choose to be on top, as it just showed, or he can defer the decision to the other guy. That's part of the strategy that comes in. But now we're in the third period, and now the other wrestler is to choose what he wants. So let's show him the sign for being down. Okay, he wants down. Okay, he comes down. Bottom man, get ready. Don't move. Top man, get on. Boom. The whistle is blown and away they go. Now the number one goal in wrestling is to pin your man. Every match doesn't go 6 minutes, or in the lower levels, 3 minutes. The goal is to dominate your opponent and turn him over on his back such that both of your shoulder blades touch for a count of 1001. When that happens, the referee will slap them. It's over. Lane Hatcher one time pinned a kid in 9 seconds. Shot down, picked him up, turned him around, put him down, and he was done. Match is over with. And that's 6 points that you get for your team if you're in a dual meet, one team against another. All right, now what we're going to do is show a couple of, we're going to have to cut on that part.
Yep.
Okay, let me think now. Okay.
I'm doing escape.
Well,
Yeah, they're greatly overmatched.
you know what? That's good. We can go through some of that stuff. We'll go through a stand up and escape.
Reverse.
Good. Escape, reversal,
Simple.
takedown, and then we'll have them come in and show some different moves. Okay. All right. Stand back up. All right. All right. I'm going to the beginning. All right. Now what we're going to do now is just kind of go through a slow motion mock situation, so that if you're a fan and you're sitting there watching, you'll know what goes on. We're in the first period, and we're just going to go slow and go through this. I want you to shoot in and get a double leg takedown on him. We're going to show this is a takedown. A takedown is worth 2 points. This is the individual scoring them. It's very simple. A takedown is 2 points. Okay, ready? Shake hands. Whistle blows. Go. Shoot, get a takedown on it. Comes in, drives across, takes him down. Now stop. In order to gain to 2 points, you have to get behind the wrestler and maintain control. That's what the referee is thinking. And right now, he'll go 2 right there. Okay, that's one way of scoring. Okay, come back again. One of you get down, one of you get on top. All right? So if he got taken down, he's going to do a move. Now the other move is called reversal. Reversal's simple. It's just, since he's on bottom, he wants to be on top. He reverses him. Do a switch. That's a switch. 2-point reversal. Now there are many different takedowns. There are many different reversals. We're just giving you an example. Okay? Now what we're going to do is, I want to get back on the side there. Okay, this is something else. And what I want you to do is to stand up and escape and get away from your opponent. Just do a stand up. Ready, go. Stands up, breaks the hand, turns, gets out. 1 point escape. So it's pretty simple. Takedown is 2 points, a reversal is 2 points, and an escape is 1 point. All right, now we're going to go to the situation with back points. When a person, you lay down flat. Not on your back, just down flat on your stomach. All right? Now, you don't have to get on top of them. Now, what I want you to do is go roll down so you're straight up and down. Okay? Turn the other way so the camera can see you. Yeah, like that. If a guy's on top and he's turned him in that back, bring the arm down. The back is straight up and down. There are no points being given. The rule is if the back comes down halfway at a 45-degree angle, the referee starts counting. This is where you get back points. And you'll see the referee go 1,001, 2, 3, 4, 5. If he gets into a 5 count for 5 seconds, he'll go 3 back points for the bottom wrestler. Has to go to a 5 count. Now, if he's backed up like this, he comes back down and you get a 1 count and he rolls back out, you don't get any points because you have to get at least two counts, 2 seconds. 1,001, 1,002 and he rolls out, that's 2 points for a back point. Now people often say, well, he had him for a 4 count and rolled out. Remember what I just said, it has to be a 5 count to get 3 points. Okay? Now put a half Nelson in on him. Start to slowly turn him over. You're going to have to get on this side, Joe. Start to turn him, go slow. Here it comes, stop. There's no points yet. Go down a little bit more, halfway. 1,000, he's counting. You go to 5, and that's 3 points. Now, if he's sinking in deep, don't let him pin you yet. He fights not to get pinned. If Joe can get him down, and that touches, go ahead, touch both. 1,001, hits the mat, it's all over. Pinners, kids that go in and are really good at pinning, you get twice as many team points to pin somebody as you do to just win like 5-3 or something like that. So it really matters to learn pinning combinations. And basically, you know, that's it. Now there are 2 different types of wrestling, and we do dual meets. It's like having 14 chairs across a mat, and 14, because there's 14 different weight classes, starting from 106 and ending at 285. The 106s will come out, shake hands, they wrestle first. And when their individual match is over, if Joe wins 6-1, we just got 3 team points. So it comes up 3, it scores 3-0. The next weights come out, and they go all the way through to the end, and whoever has the biggest score wins the dual meet. A couple years ago, we were 37-4, I think, on the season. And I believe that's a state record. Somebody told me it was, but I can't verify that. The other type of wrestling is we go to a tournament, and you might have 60 teams in it, and you might have, more realistically, 16 to 18 teams in high school. And you will come up and there'll be charts up on the wall for each weight class. The lowest one is 106, and you'll go up and there'll be 16 kids in there, and they'll see the top 4, sometimes the top 6, to give them, they're the better wrestlers and have the best chance to advance, and they continue to wrestle. And that's what it's like at our state tournament at the end of the year. Our program, we don't care about the dual meets, the dual meet losses, or anything else. Our motto is good isn't good enough if better is possible. And we seek the toughest competition that we can find in the state, and we have the toughest schedule. And we don't shy away from anybody. Your best competition will always show your weaknesses, and that's what we want to begin to work on. So what we want to do is finish in the top 2 or 3 at the end of the state. In the last 4 years, we were 2-time 1A, 5A state runners-up, and then we won 2 state championships this past year. Hopefully we can win another one this year. So that wraps up our basic scoring and the basic idea of what's going on with wrestling. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Grant. And now I think what we'll do is we'll bring in a couple of our other wrestlers. The Katy boys, we got JP Katy and Josh Katy, both varsity wrestlers. Both took 3rd in state for us from last year. And we're just going to show you a few simple moves that can be learned. And they are very, very good at this. All right, we're just going to show a number of takedowns right at this point. And I want you to do a takedown, then you do a takedown. And just say what the takedown is, then just kind of go through. Just go half speed. It's just like a mock situation. Be loud enough so the cameras can see you.
This is a high C.
There it is.
Nice takedown. Okay, jump right back up. Come back over into the middle. Right in the middle. Tell them what you're going to do.
A low single.
Low single.
Okay, Josh.
It's a double leg.
Double leg.
Okay. Single leg. There you go. Good. Back up. All right. Now what we'll do is we'll come into we'll show the escape again, just from a simple stand-up. One of you down, doesn't matter who doesn't. You guys know all this stuff real well. By the way, you've noticed everybody keeps getting on this side. You can also get on the other side of them if you want. Frequently wrestlers do, just to mess us up, because most of our moves are learned from one side. Okay? Just tell them what you're going to do.
Just regular stand-up.
Okay? Back down, and you go show one.
Switch.
And show a switch. This is a reversal. We just showed the switch. Do a sit-up, turn in, any combination off that.
It's a sit-up cutback.
Sit-up, cut back. Good. Reverses and comes around behind. All right. You show another one.
Peterson roll. Nice.
You're going to get points. It's very good. All right. Let's show some. Let's go back up onto our feet and show a lateral drop from a tie-up. Underhook, overhook, step, lateral drop. Here we go. These are upper body moves. Now, you can't slam a guy. If you take somebody off the mat, you are responsible for their safe return. And if you slam and that kid screams, even if he's not hurt, you're going to get disqualified. It's the same as if you got pinned. There are others. Do you know Japanese wizard? You don't know that? What else can you do from top on? Throws, anything like that? Let's go to a front headlock. Yeah, start right up on your feet. This is a front headlock. There's about 6 ways to pin somebody once you get these. Go ahead.
Good.
I don't care what you decide to do. Snap it down. Front headlock. This is snake. Turn them over. There are 6 different ways to pin somebody off that, at least, that we use and that we teach. All right, now let's show some pinning combinations. Let's show the half Nelson again real good. First, go right from the breakdown to a half Nelson. Chop, it's one of our signature moves. He comes back up. Go ahead, you can use any move you want. Step up, turns him over, works to a pin there. Okay, come back again. Go to a different combination to turn him on. I don't care what you use. What is it?
Bar.
Okay, bar arm series. Snap him down, we put pressure into him, over his back. There's 4 or 5 things we can do from a bar arm series here as well. Turn so they can see it. All right, coming back over, grab the half, turn in. All right, come back up. Let's show a core stand-up and hit a cradle. There's another pinning combination. Drive it down, pull him right over, and go for a pin. Okay? Now, do you have a favorite move of either one of you that we haven't shown? Okay, we'll show throwing legs in. Our leg wrestlers, let me talk about this for a second. It's one of the higher skill things that we get people involved in. And when you get with this, you are just devastated. The best wrestler we've had with legs is Lane Hatcher, who was a 4-time state champion for us, now the quarterback at Arkansas State. He was brutal. This really hurts. All right, or the leg series. All right, go ahead. Post, get the leg in. Leg comes in. You work whatever you want. Back in, drag back down, so you can leg wrestle. Okay, that's very good, guys. I appreciate that. So there are a lot of things moves that young people learn. I will say this: for every move, there is a counter move, and so you have to drill constantly. There's very little time to think about something in wrestling. It's action, reaction, stimulus, response, and the only way that you can get better at that is to drill and drill and drill and drill, and drill some more till you get real good at it. You don't have to know a lot of things. We've had some wrestlers that only know 4 or 5 things, and nobody in the state can stop them. They're so good at it. So.
All right, well, Coach,
That pretty much does it.
I think I've seen enough. Let's give it a try. I'm ready. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. No, you
Gotta
heard
check
me
to see
about
if he's
that.
got insurance first.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for doing this,
Thank you
and
for your time.
I'd like to
Appreciate it.
thank all of the entire Katie family and Grant for being out here today. And well, that's it for this episode. We'll see you next time. This has been What's Brewing.